Today, we're going to journey to the center of the Earth. First, we'll look at it through the eyes of this wild 19th century theory. And then, we're going to see it through the lens of modern science. And let me tell you, what we've actually discovered is way stranger and so much more important than anyone could have possibly imagined. So let's dive in.
So let me ask you that question. Did you know the Earth is hollow? Now, I know it sounds like pure fiction today, right? But for a while, this was a serious proposal. It was an idea that totally captured the imagination of scientists, storytellers, and, believe it or not, even politicians.
And this whole crazy story, it has a real-world anchor. Check this out. In a park in Hamilton, Ohio, stands this monument. It's actually dedicated to a man named John Cleves Symmes Jr., and you can see it's topped with a model of a hollowed-out Earth. This guy, he's known as the father of hollow Earth theory.
So, what was his big idea? Well, he called it the theory of concentric spheres. He was convinced that our planet was basically a series of nested shells, with a warm, totally habitable world on the inside. He was so sure of this that in the 1820s, he actually pitched it to the US Congress. He wanted them to fund an expedition to find these giant holes at the poles, which people started calling Symmes holes.
But you know, Symmes wasn't the first person to dream this up. The idea of a hollow Earth had been floating around for centuries. Way back in 1692, Edmond Halley, and yes, the comet guy, suggested the Earth was made of these concentric shells. Symmes just took the idea and ran with it. He popularized it. And in doing so, he kind of accidentally created a whole new universe of stories.
And this is where things get really, really fun. While the scientific community, moved on, the literary world grabbed onto the hollow Earth idea and did not let go. It became the foundation for an entire genre, subterranean fiction.
Writers saw this perfect, untouched setting for adventure. What could be down there? Maybe a primitive world, completely untouched by time. Or how about a land just filled with dinosaurs and other extinct creatures? Some people imagined it as a refuge for lost civilizations like Atlantis, while others pictured it as a secret base for aliens or other strange beings. It was like the ultimate blank canvas for the imagination.
Of course, you know the most famous example, Jules Verne's 1864 masterpiece. Now, technically, his characters only explored a giant cavern, not a full-on inner world. But his story, with its underground sea and prehistoric monsters, absolutely cemented the idea of a secret world beneath our feet in everyone's minds.
And then you've got Edgar Rice Burroughs, the guy who created Tarzan. He dreamed up Pellucidar, this savage, untamed land on the inner surface of the Earth. And get this, it was lit by a miniature sun right at its center. It was the perfect pulp adventure setting, a place where his heroes could fight prehistoric beasts and early humans.
And you know what? The idea was just so cool, it never really went away. The concept of a vast, hidden world is a huge plot point in the modern MonsterVerse franchise. It's the ancestral home of creatures like Kong. The fantasy is absolutely still alive and well today.
All right, enough fiction. It's time to pivot. Because if Symmes was wrong, and there aren't any dinosaurs down there, what did science actually find at the heart of our planet? I promise you, the reality is just as mind-blowing. So here it is. This is the real picture of our planet's interior. No hollow shells, but 4 very distinct layers. You've got the crust we live on, the mantle, the liquid outer core, and the solid inner core. And what's going on inside these layers? Well, it creates a world of unbelievable extremes.
The real center of the Earth is not some peaceful, habitable world. Nope. It is a place governed by physics so extreme, it's actually hard to even wrap your head around it.
First, let's just talk about size. The core itself, that iron-rich ball at the very center, is over 4,000 miles wide. To put that in perspective, that's wider than the entire planet Mercury. It's literally a planet within our planet. Then you have the pressure. It's about 3 million times greater than the pressure we feel just walking around on the surface. It's this unbelievable force that crushes the inner core into a solid chunk of metal, even though it's incredibly hot.
And speaking of heat, this fact is just staggering. The inner core is nearly as hot as the surface of the sun. Just think about that for a second. That intense, star-like heat is radiating just a few thousand miles right underneath our feet.
But here's one of the weirdest things we've discovered. When seismic waves from an earthquake pass through the inner core, they actually travel faster going north to south than they do going east to west. So what's going on?
Well, a leading theory is that the core is a giant metallic crystal, and the waves just move faster when they go with the grain of that crystal, which happens to be aligned with Earth's poles. How cool is that?
So, okay, the center is definitely not habitable. But here's a little twist. Scientists have actually found bacteria thriving 2.4 miles down in gold mines. These little microbes, they don't get their energy from the sun like everything on the surface. Their primary energy source is radiation coming off the rocks around them. So in a way, there is a hidden world beneath our feet, just not the one Symmes was imagining.
So why should any of us care about this super hot, high-pressure ball of metal at the center of the Earth? Well, the answer is simple. Without it, none of us would be here. The core is our planet's ultimate protector.
Here's how it all works. That churning, molten metal of the outer core flowing around the solid inner core, it acts like a giant dynamo. This motion generates Earth's massive magnetic field. That field stretches way out into space and acts like a shield, deflecting the constant stream of dangerous particles from the sun, which we call the solar wind. Without that shield, the solar wind would just strip our atmosphere away.
This quote from Discover magazine really puts it perfectly. Without that protective magnetic shield that our active core generates, Earth could have become a total hellscape, just like Venus, where the atmosphere has been destroyed and the surface temperatures are hot enough to literally melt lead. Our restless insides are the reason our world is a living one.
So that's where we end up. A hidden world of dinosaurs and lost cities. It's a fantastic story for sure, but is it really more incredible than the reality? A real, superheated planetary engine spinning at the heart of our world that silently protects every single one of us and makes all of life possible. It just goes to show you that sometimes the truth of our universe is the most amazing story of all.